Hi, I'm Jessica Lahr, and this is a look at your December weekend in the Finger Lakes. Those of us who are holding out for a white Christmas will be sorely disappointed, but for those who like the idea of simply throwing on a light jacket when heading out on Christmas Day, well, this year's holiday will be right up your alley. After temperatures near 70 on Thursday, things will cool off just a bit for Christmas Day. Friday will be partly sunny with a high near 50 and just a 20% chance of showers. Saturday will be cloudy with a 40% chance of showers and a high in the upper 40s. It will continue to be mild on Sunday with a high in the upper 40s, but rain is likely. For the complete forecast and live radar, visit our weather center online at fingerlakes1.com or on the free Finger Lakes One Android or iPhone app. Merry Christmas and have a great holiday weekend. With everyone busy preparing for Christmas this week, the photo submissions have been down just a bit, and with the mild weather, the scenes around the Finger Lakes haven't looked much like Christmas. Nonetheless, here are our staff picks for this week's top 5. Kicking us off at number 5, Julie Dill Swank sent in this picture of the Falcon Flyers at South Seneca High School, who were recognized for their first quarter academic success. Students who passed all of their classes with no incompletes received a treat and hot chocolate. There were 171. Mackenzie Welch, Annabelle McIntosh, Bailey Minges, PJ Mercado, Mary Kate Badalamenti, and Mackenzie Kenyon are all smiles. At number 4, Rachel Burkholder sent in this photo of the rain dripping from still standing wheat in Seneca County. She attached one of her favorite quotes that fits well with our unseasonable weather. The best thing one can do when it's raining is to let it. At number 3, Jim Miranda sent this photo of the Newark Reds varsity girls cheerleading squad donning their Santa hats as they cheered during Friday night's girls basketball game, a win over Waterloo. At the second spot, another great photo from Rachel Burkholder. Tuesday was the first day of winter, and the sun made a brief appearance before it set over this field in southern Seneca County. It was a warm, rainy day, not the usual for our area during Christmas week. And our photo of the week comes from Renee Meeks, who captured the season's first and only snowfall so far this winter during a morning walk along Keuka Lake on Saturday at Depot Park in Hammondsport. Great photos again this week, everyone, and thank you for sharing. You can check out all these photos and many more and learn how to share your own local photos with our users here at fingerlakes1.com by visiting our local photos page on our homepage or app. Maybe you'll find your photo in the first top 5 of 2016.
So many sights to see on the internet, but for everything local, there's one place you can get it. At fingerlakes1.com. Come on over to fingerlakes1.com. Make us your homepage. News, weather, sports, and fun. Log on to Finger Lakes One.
Local news from over 40 sources, custom local weather, over 10 hours of live broadcasts and podcasts every week on your computer, tablet, television, or smartphone. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
www.fingerlakes1.com. Come on and join the fun. Log on to Finger Lakes One.
www.fingerlakes1.com.
Christmas is here, and there are tons of activities this weekend after the presents are open and Christmas Day festivities come to a close. Here's a look at your top 5 local events taking place during the last weekend of 2015 here in the Finger Lakes. Kicking things off at number 5, the 25th annual Miniatures and Dollhouse exhibit will be on display all weekend at the Glenn H. Curtis Museum in Hammondsport. More than 100 displays include dollhouses and miniatures of all styles and ages, from Victorian to farm to modern, and all themes including model trains, ships and boats, and operating miniature machinery. A great exhibit for the whole family to see, open daily from 10 until 4. Visit www.glenncurtismuseum.org for more information. Next, at number 4, Craft Brewers in Honeoye Falls is celebrating their caged alpha monkey's 5th birthday party Saturday from 6 until 10. There will be giveaways all night, live music from the Honey Badgers, a special cask of Monkey IPA, and cupcakes available. You will also have a chance to have your picture taken with the monkey himself. 21 and over are invited to share in the celebration. Coming in at number 3, the New York Wine and Culinary Center in Canandaigua is hosting a New York State beer and soft pretzel demo on Sunday at noon. Their pastry chef will walk you through the steps of creating your own soft pretzel, and while that bakes, the beverage instructor will teach you about different beer styles and flavor profiles. The cost for the event is $30 per person. More information can be found at www.nywcc.com. At number 2, the Rochester Museum and Science Center's Strassenberg Planetarium invites you to join them for Saturday Night Skies Saturday, starting at 7:30. They will take you and your family on a concise tour of the stars, constellations, and planets in the current sky using a new solid-state laser and their giant 4-story dome. The show is set to classic rock music, and choreographed beams of laser lights and free telescope viewings are offered if weather permits. The cost is $7, with the little ones under 2 for free. For more information, look at www.rmsc.org. And this week's top event recommendation: 30 years after the defeat of the Galactic Empire, the galaxy faces a new threat from the evil Kylo Ren and the First Order. When a defector named Finn crash lands on a desert planet, he meets Rey, a tough scavenger whose droid contains a top-secret map. Together, the young duo joins forces with Han Solo to make sure the Resistance receives the intelligence concerning the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker, the last of the Jedi Knights. Star Wars: The Force Awakens will be showing in Geneva, Canandaigua, and Auburn, along with the Omen Theater in Lyons, Canaltown and Macedon, Eastview Mall, and Lake Street Plaza Theaters in Penn Yan. Click on the movie tab on our homepage for a listing of times near you. Merry Christmas, everyone, and whatever your plans, have a great weekend here in the Finger Lakes. On Monday, the New York State Gaming Commission finally granted 3 upstate casino licenses during a meeting in New York City that was streamed live on FingerLakes1.tv. Check out the final vote on Lago Resort and Casino to be built in Tyre and Seneca County.
Per standards contained in sections 1317 and 1318 of the New York State Racing Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. May I have a motion to find the application as amended, submitted by Lago Resort and Casino LLC, doing business as Lago Resort and Casino, meets the minimum licensing threshold set forth in Section 1316 of the New York State Racing Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law? May I have such a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. May I have a motion to execute the Gaming Facility License Award for Lago Resort and Casino LLC, doing business as Lago Resort and Casino pursuant to Section 1311?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Rob, would you mind calling the next applicant?
Certainly. The final application for consideration is Montrain Operating Company LLC, doing business as Montrain Resort Casino. Each commissioner has been provided with a copy of Montrain Operating Company LLC's response to the Gaming Facility Location Board.
One Ontario County business that is likely to be affected by Lago Casino is Finger Lakes Gaming and Racetrack in Farmington. On Monday's Weber This Week show, Harold Weber talks about the reduction of days for their thoroughbred racing season.
Or does he play full bore? Hey, some comments about the Finger Lakes Racetrack and Casino. You know, there's a lot of, not rumors, factual, that the Delaware North company that owns Finger Lakes Racetrack have been subsidizing the anti-casino out in Tyre along with our friends down at Turning Stone. I think you could all say that's a fact. You know, having been a Seneca Falls resident, my wife Mary likes to play the slots. I sometimes enjoy it. Go up, have a little buffet, play a few slots, lose a little money, come home, get upset. Just kidding. But you know, the thing about Finger Lakes Racetrack, we went up there years ago when it first opened. It was okay. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't something that would turn you on to go visit, in my view. They had not a whole lot of machines there. But then they got the permission to increase their visibility. They got a lot of money. They put a lot of their own money into remodeling that place, increasing the size of Finger Lakes Racing Casino. And I got to be honest with you, we haven't been up there in quite a while, but it is beautiful. They have, an outstanding restaurants inside. They have a lot more machines to play. It's clean. Bunch of bars. You can hang out and have a sandwich and a drink. My point is the impending decision regarding Lago, I think, is their death knell. I don't know how they're going to survive. And I was kind of thinking about that when the Finger Lakes Times produced an editorial or a story yesterday's paper regarding the Finger Lakes Racetrack people are going to be asking for a reduction in race days for their thoroughbred side. They do 156 days of racing each year. They're going to be asking the New York State folks that are in charge of racing to reduce that by some 30 days down to 120 some. And I started thinking, I'm not a big horse better. I do bet the Breeders' Cup. There's about 13 races. I usually bet a couple bucks on each race because that is the ultimate in my mind, where you have the best horses around the world that compete every year, once a year. We do bet the Triple Crown, too, my wife and myself, because we were married on May 7th, which was a Kentucky Derby, the first Saturday of May. So we always bet the Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont. And we pull like mad to see if we could win a couple of bucks. My point is, from a horse racing standpoint, I don't consider myself one of those old guys with a cigar in their mouth reading through the program and trying to understand what horse should win the next race. I don't get into it. I usually go by numbers or by names. But it's pitiful up there. It really is pitiful for the racing side of it. I mean, to be honest with you, when they increased the awareness and increased that place and made it more modern, and they were going to bring in more revenues, which they no doubt have done that, some of the extra revenue is going to go to the horse side of the business and bring in more horses to compete. In my honest view, and it's simply only my view, not Jimmy's and not FingerLakes1.com, it appears to me they've never really achieved that goal. Where I'm going with this discussion is if you look at Finger Lakes Racetrack and you flash back the last few months, there are days where they were setting up an 8-race card. In all of my life at 70 and a half years old, I never heard of an 8-race card. It's 9 races. In harness racing, they run 12 or 13 races. They had 8-race cards several days this past year. They had races where there were five horses in the race. That gets rid of the trifecta. There's no superfecta. My point is, that has eroded to the degree where they should get rid of racing completely, not just cut back the schedule, just get rid of it, because it's an embarrassment. I used to go with Mary way back when, and we used to sit up in the clubhouse. I think it cost you $1 or $2 to go up there, get a beer. Mary would get a glass of wine. We'd order lunch, watch all the races from an air-conditioned clubhouse. That was nice. It was classy. A few months later, we decided to go back, and we were going to go to the clubhouse. Went up to the clubhouse stairs, closed. I asked one of the workers there what happened. They said they didn't get enough people to justify keeping the clubhouse available. To me, folks, to be very honest with you, and I have nothing against Finger Lakes Racing, but they got to somehow figure a way to just make it Finger Lakes Casino, because as far as I'm concerned, the racing is really a non-factor up there. It's sad. No horses, can't fill a field, got to have 8 race cars. Are you kidding me? It is time to say goodbye to racing. And what saddens me even worse, with Lago minutes away from possibly getting a license, or I should say hours away from possibly getting a license, I don't know who's going to go from Seneca County or Wayne County to Canandaigua to play slots. I've really figured this out. And I did talk to somebody. I asked Chris Regal, the president, to come on this show. He refused. He did tell me on the phone, thousands and thousands of people come every month from this area up to his place. Mm-hmm. Who's going after Lago comes in? Who? Me and Mary? Not a chance.
No, the one thing that would make people come would be the races, the horse races. That's the one thing that would separate them a little bit. I've never been a big machine guy as casinos. I'd rather play a table game than a machine.
Right.
And honestly, I've never played any of the machines up there at Finger Lakes, but
it's deplorable.
It would be too bad to lose horse racing in the Finger Lakes. It's a unique thing that a lot of regions don't have access to a track like that.
Yeah.
But
it's sad.
It isn't the same. I used to actually go up when I was younger. Up there, and a friend of mine had an uncle that worked there, so we'd go up and sometimes spend the day up there betting $1 or $2 on a. We probably shouldn't have been, but
that's all right. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I hope for their sake they stay around. But I don't know how they're going to. I don't know who in their right mind is going to leave this area to go up there. When you consider Lago's anticipating 2,300 slot machines, and I'm sure they're going to be a new variety. We'll have to wait and see, but I really feel bad about the racing side of that business, and I don't know how they're going to save that, and they're going to cut back their racing schedule. We'll have to wait and see. Hey, by the way, Jimmy and myself follow, 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars.
With Sunday's loss to the Washington Redskins, the Buffalo Bills were officially eliminated from playoff contention for the 16th straight season. On Tuesday mornings, Kenny's Two Pennies, Kenny Haas, talks about the frustration of being a Bills fan.
Well, it seems as though some things never change. Because guess what? For the 16th consecutive year, all Bills fans like me have had their hearts torn out. One more year, no playoffs for the Bills. Definitely is getting to be a broken record around here. Not only in Western New York, all around New York State and all around the country where there are pockets of Bills fans. And especially with the Pagulas making this big hire with Rex, of course, as my partner Barnum and Bailey Ryan says. Good kudos to Harold Weber for wearing my hat on his show yesterday. As you know, even though he's a Bills hater, I still like to hear what the Web Dog has to say. And, even if you do take a pie in the face for wearing my hat, Mr. Weber, you always do a good job telling it like it is. Because you're this area's Howard Cosell, if you know what I mean. Of course, I sound like Howard Cosell. And I am just telling it like it is. Because, Howard Cosell definitely never really had anything to say about the Bills. But I definitely have something to say about the Bills. Now that I'm going to get away from talking like Howard Cosell, thing is, this past few days, it definitely has been a lot of passion. But ESPN did that wonderful 30 for 30 show, The Four Falls of Buffalo. And I mean, it's great to see Jim Kelly, Bruce Smith, and all the others talking with reverence, and finally, hopefully, people talking with reverence about those four Super Bowl Bills teams which failed to win it. And of course, Luke Russert, son of Tim Russert, God rest his soul, hoping that someday when the Bills finally do win the Super Bowl, which I hope occurs in my lifetime, is going to happen. But two things happened at one Bills drive. First, the Bills got their learner's permit, and also Neil Sedaka decided to serenade the Bills. Tra la 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 la, happy birthday, sweet 16. Of course, people are gonna keep bashing the Bills until they finally do win the big one, whenever that is. And I hope before I keel over, I hope that's when it happens. But what can I say? Nothing ever changes. And of course, Rex Ryan seems like this century's John Pope. Anybody who read their history books remember that John Pope was the commander of the Army of the Potomac at the Second Battle of Manassas, and he was called a bag of wind by his subordinates. He once said, "My headquarters are in the saddle," but everybody said Pope doesn't know his headquarters from his hindquarters. Some people might be saying that about Rex Ryan. Hopefully he can right this ship and finally get the Bills to the playoffs. But like I said, nothing ever changes. Now I'm going from that to probably one of the most colossal blunders I've seen in a long time. Steve Harvey, he's been a great comic for years. Stand up on sitcom TV and also as the host of Family Feud. I always like to hear the quips that he does. But what about what happened at the Miss Universe pageant? It was between Miss Columbia and Miss Philippines. He said it was Miss Columbia who was the new Miss Universe. Then 2 minutes later, "Oh, I have to apologize. I made a mistake. The new Miss Universe is Miss Philippines." Steve, it's live TV. Yeah, I know things can happen on live TV, and I mean sometimes mistakes happen. But you know, that is a big thing, and Miss Universe has to represent her country and represent everything that is good in the world for the next year. You know, get it right. Congratulations to Miss Philippines, but I kind of wonder about Miss Columbia. And of course, the people in Colombia are hopping mad. And one thing's for sure over history, you don't want to make Colombia mad, especially the people in Bogota, Medellin, Cali, Barranquilla, and all the other Colombian cities. And of course, you look at Miss Colombia, she could be a doppelganger for Sofia Vergara. You know, Steve, I mean, yeah, you made a mistake. I appreciate you fessing up to your mistake. But please, get it right. Thing is, I think you're not going to be invited back to be Miss Universe host again. Whoever is the next Miss Universe host, get it right. And I'm going to go from there to saying congratulations to Lago Casino. They were one of three prospective casinos to be awarded a gaming license. And you know, that definitely paves the way and clears the way for it to resume construction and be open maybe by the end of next year. But of course, others like some residents around Tyre, and of course, hearing that report about Finger Lakes Gaming and Racetrack and that very unscrupulous deal that's there for the New York State taxation taking what they take from Finger Lakes Gaming and Racing and Casino. Heck, it looks as though almost 70% of that Racino's revenues go to the state, and then another 10% off the top goes to the racing purses. It's no wonder they're hopping mad. You know, maybe they can get a
Be
new
sure to
deal
check back
there
at
to
fingerlakes1.com for the latest weather forecast and local news throughout the weekend. I'll be back on Wednesday, January 6th for our next episode of FLX Weekly. For everyone here at fingerlakes1.com, I'm Jessica Lahr, wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.